Chat, here we go. It's Zippy versus Vulcan, and I just realized that since I restarted, we have no overlay. But this is one of the rare times it's actually not a super big deal, except Vulcan is on the blue and Zippy is in the orange. I'll have it up momentarily. Don't you worry. You won't be lost for long. But this is a hidden pro 1v1 tournament where you don't get to know the actual names of the people playing in it. And now you don't even get an overlay to help you know which one of the two players are Zippy and which one are Vulcan. That's right, it's extra metagame. Now you need to both figure out who's Zippy, who's Vulcan, and which one of them are in this game. No, we got the overlay up now. Vulcan in the blue, Zippy in the orange. Zippy, I believe, playing in a 3-1 match in order to make it here. I don't believe it's a sweep. Vulcan, I think, swept through. I'll double check right now. Chat has decided that because of Vulcan's sweep, they have put a little bit of extra points on Vulcan. And we'll have to go and close the predictions because I think Zippy may have just gotten a few extra votes with a 2-0 lead to start this game. But actually, they were both sweeps. Zippy and Vulcan both swept in the previous rounds. People were maybe a little bit more impressed with Vulcan's sweep as Zippy letting this ball fall to the ground. And now Vulcan in control. If you're wondering why they're playing Octane, or if you're trying to use Octane as part of your guessing strategy, just know they're playing on alt accounts that only have Octane. You will not see any Fenix. So you'll have to do your best to mentally take these cards and put them in Fenix if you think it's a Fennec main who is playing it. Vulcan gonna tie it up after Zippy got a couple quick goals. A little reverse pop and then found the angle to get it off the post and in. Who is the 1 seed is the kind of questions that have been asked of me throughout the entirety of the tournament, and I have kept it very consistent, which is that you will get no such hint. You will get no such hint. Oh my goodness, Vulcan almost popping off with a nasty clip there on the wave dash shot. I will mention who you guys said these players were last time. So you did get to take a guess in the quarterfinals, all of chat, as Zippy is going to rip a flick over the top of Vulcan. You said that Vulcan was first killer, and you said that Zippy was Appjack. Those were your 2 guesses for these players. And we will see if you guys change your minds at all after watching them play against each other. Vulcan looking down to see if they're going to have to deal with Zippy coming to challenge, which they are not. And that is a great aerial take from Vulcan. Presence of mind to check the defender, sees they're not around, pops it up high, notices that Zippy had transitioned back to the ground and just used the reset to slot it over the top. Vulcan trying to get a clean possession here, will win the race to the back corner boost. And now is going to double jump and not get it in front of the ball in time. Great defense from Zippy, who is being very proactive, not waiting for the play to come to him. He's getting up over the top of a potential air dribble bump or any aerial play at all. And that's something that Vulcan will have to react to because it's punishable. You know, you have to just fake your aerial and pull out of it very early usually to get away with it. But Zippy's honestly doing a good job of staying near the play. Zippy! Was this a double reset musty? There's 1. There's 2. And actually pulling out of their initial setup to get what felt like a bit of a weak musty, but it doesn't matter. It connects all the same. And Zippy gonna make it 5-4. Vulcan popping up high into the air. Has the reset, gets the bump as well. Vulcan puts one on the board in style. Zippy was doing well to defend these earlier. And I'm not even sure he was thinking about the bump. He might have just missed it anyways. Sometimes it looks like a bump was relevant to the play, but I actually think Vulcan just got enough movement on the shot that Zippy was missing either way. As Vulcan going to grab the midfield 100. What a little dish to cut it around. It wasn't enough to get it on target, though. As Zippy, really quick collection of the ball, but it's still not going to matter. By the time they have it for the dribble, Vulcan going to dunk it and take it away. Vulcan missing a zap dash as they look to attack in the corner off the kickoff. Zippy going for a really high bounce dribble where they were going to threaten the hook shot. And they're swinging so far wide off the ball that Vulcan saw a clear opportunity to take the ball away. Zippy up to the ceiling. Vulcan immediately challenging. We saw this between Vulcan and Endo. Vulcan never really let the aerial game get going much because they seemed really comfortable on the off-ceiling challenges. And Endo specifically was saying we're setting up every air dribble to the top of the arena, which is the easiest place to challenge from the ceiling. I mentioned it before, but whenever defenders are ready, the meta for air dribbles has shifted to be more mid-arena so that the ceiling challenge isn't as effective. Vulcan going to take this to the back corner. To the ceiling, challenge immediately from Zippy, and that's what I'm talking about. When you go high on those dribbles, it enables that ceiling to help out with the challenge, but that is not going to be the backflip that will intercept. Vulcan sends it over the top and has an 8-5 lead. We already picked AJ. Well, that hasn't really stopped you before, and it probably shouldn't stop you. I mention it every time. Just because you felt like earlier in the tournament you saw a certain player, if they show up again, you could have been wrong the first time. And in fact, you guys guessed 3 people for Reddles, so you just kept being so sure that the next person was Reddles. Wave dash kickoff for Zippy. Vulcan, as soon as it felt like they were starting to command control of the game, a couple quick goals. It's going to be a close one down to the wire. Zippy going to get another kickoff goal. Kickoff seemed to be clean. Let's go watch Zippy's kickoff so people can see. Just a standard kickoff pushing left. Maybe a bit quicker than Vulcan is. Are players like Cheese viable guesses? So just a reminder for everybody who's, again, maybe tuning in for the first time. All of the potential guesses, that's a great shot, are just anybody who has played at least one show match on the stream. I did not pick anybody who had like never played before, because then it'd be hard to guess them. That's a great flip to the other side of the ball. And also, the player has to be willing to play on US East. I will tell you that this match is being played on US East, and all the matches of the entire tournament played on US East. Actually, you know what? I don't know if that's 100% true, but everyone has to be willing to play on US East. They all knew they were playing a US East tournament. The only reason I'm starting to give even minor hints now is because I feel bad we had to go an extra day. We couldn't finish it when we were supposed to. But 10 seconds left to go. Vulcan needs a goal here and actually has a decent chance at it because Zippy is completely starved out. Needs to keep this ball up and should be able to. Zippy is going to be out of position. Vulcan will flip and tie the game. A super high scoring game number 1 will go to overtime at 10-10. Vulcan clutching up after seemingly dropping the game in the final moments. But here we are, a 10-10 overtime for one of the higher scoring games in the tournament. Both of them are going to go delay kickoff. That was so cute. They delayed almost exactly the same pace and still got to the ball at the same time, but it's going to be favored to Zippy, who goes air dribble bump. Vulcan gets over the top of it, but not as quick of a recovery. A little zap dash from Vulcan, but ultimately going to leave with 0 boost. Zippy, 100 boost and possession. What can they do with space and time? It's a flick. It's going top right. It's crossbar down and out instead of crossbar down and in. But that was really close margins. Vulcan, 27 boost, little reverse cam to see how much space they have. The answer is not much, as Zippy dunks the ball and now is looking to force the issue. Does not want Vulcan to be able to get too much boost, but ultimately did allow them to get the back corner, but in that process had them dive. What a last second save. In fact, Vulcan is not just saving the ball, they're thinking about winning the game. It seemed like a very intentional save to put it off the backboard and set up a pass for themselves. It's not going to go back far enough in time to see them calculate it, but I gotta feel like that's what happened, as Vulcan ends up taking game number 1. And we switch off the end game screen so you guys get absolutely no additional hints. Game number 2, Vulcan and Zippy. An exciting one to start us off. And it's going to be a delay kickoff from Vulcan as they look to get going. You don't watch enough 1v1 for this. I just know it's not Abjack or Reddles. This is a really hard game. I mentioned it before, but Hootie Hoo did some reviewing on his stream of the first day and went through and tried to, you know, get some takes with his chat on who it was. And, you know, after he did, I don't want to say anything during the whole thing, but after he did, I was like, man, like, I'm glad I don't have to play this game. It's a really hard game. And I watch a ton of 1v1. There's very few people who watch as much 1v1 as me, and I still think it would be really tough because while there's general strategies and stuff, what you almost need to know is, like, individual movements and individual unique things about every player, because a lot of the top players are doing similar things. Why did you use the anonymizer? I did not. We tried to do that. So we did 2 test lobbies. I've kind of talked about this multiple times, so I'll try not to talk about it too much. But we did a couple test lobbies, show matches before the tournament. The first one we used, you know, we tried to anonymize Steam accounts. Didn't work at all. People found out who was playing pretty easily. And then somebody mentioned, oh, you could just use the mod. The mod does not work. It does not work on live games. You can't actually hide people. Plus, it'll do weird things like it won't hide them right away, and then, you know, 15 seconds later, it will hide them. And it's like, okay, that ruins the whole point. It has to be perfect. So we just ended up going with the alt account method, which was the only really safe way. Zippy going to win on the delay kickoff from Vulcan. And Zippy's going to convert for a quick goal because of it. Okay, this is the last time. I'll explain this again, just because you never know when people are tuning in the first time, especially if this is like the first video they're watching on YouTube. The names of the players are gonna move around for some reason. The accounts they're playing on are called Feer Orange and Feer Blue, but for some reason, the game when they join in is giving them bot names, and I don't know if that's intentional because it's like a new Epic account, and it's like, okay, let's give them a bot name. I don't know why. So it picks a random bot name. Technically, Cougar and Outlaw are playing. By the time this game ends, it'll probably switch to Feer Orange and Feer Blue. That's the exact kind of shenanigans I'm talking about that we just can't stand for. You know, we can't have someone's actual name show up at any point during the game, which is why they're on these full-on alt accounts in the first place. I made him for this tournament. Can you make a LAN version of this where the players are blindfolded until they play and kept in isolated holding cells? Okay. Michael Parenti wants to put these guys in jail. That's what I'm understanding. He just wants to find a way to excuse putting the players in solitary confinement. I don't think that needs to happen, you know? You could just put them in a room and, like, just let them hang out there, and they could just play their games from there. It doesn't have to be as crazy as you made it sound. Zippy gonna get a goal, as Vulcan could not intercept here in the corner. Blue likes bumping. One thing that we did see between Vulcan and Endo, it hasn't really come in to play as much here with Vulcan and Zippy, is Vulcan just had a ton of midfield disruption bumps. Like, they weren't even huge bumps, not ones where they're driving in and look like aiming to get demos, just a bunch of little taps here and there that threw Endo off and resulted in a ton of free goals for Vulcan. Vulcan hasn't really either been trying to do that against Zippy or hasn't really been able to do that against Zippy. Zippy, what a great read. This is a huge play from Zippy. A kickoff win, wall to air dribble, gets the reset, notices the early challenge, flips over the top of it, and goes for the double, which really shows the level of aerial control that Zippy has. Zippy able to play over the top of Vulcan, but gets bumped in the process. So now it'll be Vulcan out of the back corner, air dribble to around ceiling height as the reset goes to the ground. The wave dash, though, isn't very protective of the ball. So not only is it going to be a clean steal, it's going to go all the way to the blue half. But at the very least, something. Oh my goodness, what is Vulcan going for? This is a fairly all-in play. Ground pinch doesn't even need to be that good from Zippy. So they just go safe and follow it up. But an insane all-in clip that Vulcan was looking for. Delay kickoff results in a goal for Vulcan as Zippy tried to play it into the side wall on a half flip. Vulcan trying to punish the half flip kickoff. Didn't succeed on the first try. Maybe a bit ambitious to try and play that one out of the air. It seems focused on keeping the ball in Zippy's half. They're both on 100 now. Zippy reacting to the close shadow as he tries to pop the ball. Vulcan able to get back. We saw a pass off the back wall earlier, and Vulcan's going to do it again. Always thinking about the counter. As Zippy leaves the opportunity to go off the back wall and across the field. Zippy on the catch. You can see Vulcan clearly expecting an air dribble. Zippy on those flicks. Zippy zipping a flick top right. As Vulcan tried to pre-jump the aerial, and even though it wasn't in, Vulcan bailed and did not try and follow up on the bounce that Zippy was going to be able to cleanly read. Vulcan now down one. Another really close game as Vulcan takes advantage of the fact that Zippy went to the back corner for 100 boosts, and in the process sets up this 1-2 bounce dribble, and you can really get a pretty nice hook shot out of that. Would Jorias and Nas count as NA? What I said before, and I'll just say exactly what I said before again. Regional 6, you know, whatever the last regional was, or I think honestly every regional, but I just use regional 6 because it's the most recent. The players who played in the tournament played in 3 different regions for that RLCS regional. Zippy getting 2 straight kickoff goals. I would say goals that maybe helped secure the game, but we saw Vulcan come back from that. So in that case, that would mean that Jorias and Nas, they played Regional 6, or all the regionals from NA. Vulcan going to get one of the 2 that they need. Delay kickoff from Zippy in an attempt to close out the game. Vulcan decides to play keep away off the initial dribble, just uses the flip to get it away from the defender, and now has a late recovering defender on very little boost, so a very smart play from Vulcan, and it converts for a goal. No rush. You do have a bit of time with 20 to 30 seconds left to go. And Vulcan recognizing that playing against a 0 boost defender is much easier than trying to outplay him high in the air when he has boost. Zippy resets. Wave dash shot to finish. No, wave dash fake, and he just allowed Vulcan to take it away. He went so all in on the fake, but wasn't really near the ball. But it seemed like Vulcan did not believe he was going for a real shot and just waited patiently off the bounce, took it away. And are we in for another 10-10 overtime game? Zippy needs a kickoff goal with 3 seconds. It's a delay kickoff. It works perfectly. 16 boost. Can he get this in the air and into the net before Vulcan gets back? He will! A 10-10 game as we go to overtime in game number 2, the exact score line of the first game. And it's a cheeky delay kickoff for Zippy that does it. Vulcan was able to win the previous overtime. Can Zippy make a change? They both go standard kickoff. This is going to favor Vulcan, who's going to have the ball in his half with 100 boosts. Going to go air dribble bump, and Zippy able to make the save. A rare way to save an air dribble bump, which is just going later after the bump. Usually you have to get up over the top of it, and it was not a poor setup by Vulcan. It was decent enough setup that you would think that's not possible. Vulcan dodging the bump attempts. Now flicking, getting undercut. Zippy wants a clean possession, but actually didn't get it. A fake! Vulcan will win. Again, 11-10 in overtime. Zippy intentionally undercutting Vulcan here. Thought they had a clean possession. They were trying to get a touch there. Didn't get it, and then panicked back and was not able to make an interception. Vulcan just faked it. Game 2 going to Vulcan, up 2-0 in the series. I don't think it reveals anything, and I like to give you guys little tidbits here and there. Zippy has already locked in their guess via DM to me for who Vulcan is. Zippy says they don't even need to play anymore. They've got their guess. And now they're going to try and go get the win. When do you reveal? We'll reveal later today. There will be Bears. Thank you for the Prime. All aboard the Prime train. Yeah, big Prime train happening right now. Appreciate you guys. Zippy trying to be patient here with this possession. Vulcan out of the backfield. Low 50 off the air dribble, and is going to be able to tap it back in. Why can't we have the names of the players after they're out of the tourney? No, sorry. The only reason why I'm going to respond to this, I responded multiple times. Metzi's saying because I want you guys to watch more and make more money. That is not the reason why. The reason why I decided, because at first we were going to reveal who got eliminated, but I think it just gives you a lot of context, and it helps you a little bit too much in guessing who the other players are. Because as players get eliminated, you know who's playing and who isn't. And then maybe by the grand final, you might be like, all right, process of elimination, I know all these people can't be it. I know who they all beat. You maybe like fully lock in on who's playing, and then you kind of watch the grand final knowing with 100% certainty or near 100% who's playing. And that kind of ruins the whole point. And so I decided, wait a second, if we just don't reveal to the end, then, you know, you could be pretty sure it was one person the whole way, but you never know 100%. And then you kind of watch the grand final in complete awe. So I don't know, felt like a better way to do it. And the reality is, people who have run tournaments like this that are very popular before also do it that way. So it was the smaller risk. Do it the way the people who have been doing it for a while and it's been working do it. Ooh, Vulcan, my goodness. Vulcan making a point on this shot. Took this ball away. I mean, Zippy might be able to recover, but Vulcan just absolutely bangs it top left perfectly. Mr. Undies, thank you for the gifted sub. Appreciate you. Vulcan deciding to bail out off of their air dribble. Down to the ground. Zippy has a little bit of space and will be able to convert. Strong touch out ahead of Vulcan. This would be the closest sweep ever, I think, if we had another 10-11 game that goes to Vulcan. Reminder, we have Ripper. Ripper is waiting in the grand finals for the winner of this game. Zippy reset, needed a slot top left if they were going to score it. Lost a bit of height, allowed Vulcan to get the save, and now Vulcan double jump and knows not to do too much. Oh, wait a second. Wait just 1 second. They allowed Zippy a chance. But basically, Zippy punished here because they're shadowing not towards net. They're kind of not even really shadowing. They're so pointed sideways. They're kind of saying, I have to challenge right here and now, or in this moment in which I intercept. And Vulcan just popping it over the top of them is able to easily get that outplay. And then there's no secondary chance because Zippy is so angled infield instead of back towards the net. Zippy, again, being Zippy, living up to their name as they explode out of a contest for the ball in the midfield very quickly. But ultimately, Vulcan able to break up the play and get a 6-3 lead. Joe Marr, 2010. Thank you for the tier 1 for 37 months. Joe Marr, holding it down. King of the subs. Or at least in the Royal Court. Zippy into the back corner. Bounce into an air dribble. Vulcan read it. The first touch was so high that Zippy didn't really have a choice to maybe not play the air dribble. Sometimes if you have like a low bounce, you could maybe threaten both. But the first touch was so high. Had to be an air dribble. Vulcan knew it too. So pre-jumped it, took it away. Vulcan, not enough boost to get back for the double. The reset took the ball away. But needed a little bit extra if they wanted to score. Is Zippy going to try and dunk here? Vulcan has gotten a couple different outplays when Zippy's looked to be too aggressive. And it looks like Zippy's going to back off now. With a minute 30 left to go. Down 2. They actually almost seem to be trying to be careful to a certain degree. I want to let the very manageable deficit right now get out of hand. As they have an open possession. The flick is a bit low. Vulcan has the save. And heavy touch back to their own corner. Vulcan's going to be there way first, but an interesting play from Vulcan. I don't know why they just slammed it off the side wall. It's clearly going to be picked up by Zippy when it felt like maybe they could get a possession going. Zippy power slide cuts, but they need Vulcan to kind of commit in order to get that outplay, and Vulcan has been patient, waiting for the boost in the back corner. Bounce dribble for Zippy. A bump attempted, but Vulcan goes all the way up over the top of it and maybe secures the series. Zippy not going to be able to score off of the half-flip kickoff. Vulcan wants to ice out the series without any volatile kickoffs. Something that's guaranteed to be a bit more passive is that half-flip. Assuming you trust your own recovery and net, I guess it could be bad if you allow an immediate shot on target. But most pros can get back in time. Vulcan able to guide this one to the back wall and I think secure the series. In fact, you see them almost dropping their controller there for a moment. They know they've done it. It was down to the wire in games 1 and 2. A bit cleaner of a win, but Vulcan going to take this series in a sweep. Which now takes you to your favorite moments of the tournament, chat. Your opportunity to guess who was playing. Like I said before, Zippy already guessed. I'm going to go make sure that if they want to change it after that last game, because you never know. Maybe they're like, wait a second, I saw something in game 3 that makes me want to change my mind. But let's, of course, get our soundtrack for this moment. Chat, I ask you, who is Vulcan? I see Daniel. Give me names for people who could be Vulcan. I see Appjack. I see FK. I see Evo. I see Nas. I see Chronic. I see Flitz. I see Jorias. I see Diaz. I think I had Flitz. I think I had Chronic. AJ. That's it. That's 10. Here are your 10. For Vulcan, chat. This is who Vulcan, who played on the blue team and won 3-0. Zippy doubled down. Zippy did not change. You guys are deciding between FK and Chronic, it looks like, for Vulcan. Remember, last time, in case you guys are wondering, you did say it was first killer for Vulcan. So let's go. It looks like Chronic, FK, maybe Appjack has the next most. He at least has double digits. Let's just put all three. I think you guys went FK last time. Jack, FK, Chronic. Decide between these three. Looks like with just Jack, FK, and Chronic as options, chat has resettled once again on first killer for Vulcan. Okay, actually, maybe we need to take Jack out of it. Let's see. Let's just double check. Let's just make sure for that if the Jack voters would switch over to Chronic, because Jack did not get enough votes there to be relevant. FK or Chronic? Are all the Jack voters going to switch over to Chronic? If so, it might be close. So we start again. 1 for first killer, 2 for Chronic. I'll give it at least like 45 seconds, and then if someone has a 3 to 5 vote lead, we'll lock it in. It's like a 10 vote plus lead. First killer. So you guys are sticking with first killer. Who is Zippy, chat? I need to see names. Need to pick your 10 options. Appjack, Arsenal, Magic Bear, Jorius, Chronic, Vatira, Nas, Evo, AJ, Nuggets. Here are your 10. Who do you guys think is Zippy? Last time, you guys said Zippy was apparently Jack. And it looks like, although we gave you guys 10 options, you're still mostly looking apparently Jack. Who said Vatira? Just to be clear, I mentioned yesterday 3 RLCS regions are represented in this tournament. Okay, let's clean it up. Let's go Jack, Evo, AJ. Just make sure no one wants to switch. Jack, Evo, AJ. These were really the only people getting votes. I didn't put a K on Jack. You guys know who it is. 1 for Jack, 2 for Evo, 3 for AJ. Wow. This is almost perfectly split. I don't know how you guys want me to break this up. Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes here. I'm hovering over the finish. In about 15 seconds, I'm hitting finish. And if somebody's winning, that's who your guys' guess is. But I'm gonna hit finish now. You guys want Evo. Evo was 1 vote ahead. So we have Evo in for Zippy.